Why is it so difficult to get a job? Why is no one getting back to you? Why do you just seem to not be making any progress? Here's 8 reasons why I think you're struggling to get a job based upon over 10 years of experience of helping people to get jobs. And at the end, I'm going to give a little bit of a comment about AI, how it's useful and how it's not useful. Reason number one, no plan and no direction. When I talk to most people about getting a job, all they're really thinking about is getting a job, not where they're going to get a job, how they're going to get a job, how they're going to plan getting a job. So for example, keeping a list of applications, making sure that they're keeping on top of their preparation, setting aside time within their diary. If you don't have a plan and a direction, then how can you know when you've got to where you're going to get to? Also, this means that you're not keeping track of deadlines, you're not making sure that you have a weekly system for getting in vacancies or a daily system. So you're basically just fucking about, just trying to think, oh my God, how am I going to get a job? Shit, I really need to get a job, but you're not getting a job. Planning and direction is really going to help you because the chances are that your only thing to do in life is not just to get a job. You're going to have friends and family and studies and other things that you do, so you need to fit it all in. And if you don't plan how to do that effectively, it really hurts your chances of getting a job as quickly as possible. Reason number two, sending copy and paste CVs and cover letters. I cannot stand this. When people do this, because what they'll do is they'll send me a cover letter or a CV which basically has a bit in yellow or a box that just say insert company or insert role. This is just complete horseshit, right? If you're gonna do something, do it properly. How you do anything is how you do everything. So if you're gonna send cover letters, make sure that you research the company and you research the role. If you check out Application Success Secrets, which is down link in description below, it's completely free. I'll give you a cover letter template that you can use. There are, certain sections and parts. Do your homework. Basically, if you're half-arsing it, you're not going to get anywhere. Also the same thing with CVs, and a lot of people seem to spend an inordinate amount of time thinking, well, what if I make my CV look pretty? Or what if I have a template? Or what if I have a little 1 to 5 bar which denotes my skills? This is all completely useless. Something to think about with CVs is that it's really basic what you need to do. You need to match up as many of the job specs as possible, as many of the skills and experiences as possible. The application tracking system will scan your CV and then will give you a job. If you don't do that because you're just sending the same CV everywhere, no one's going to get back to you because you haven't been bothered to make the time to tailor your CV and cover letter. A good way to think about this is, instead of thinking about quantity, think about quality first. Once you have quality, then you can do quantity. But time and time again, whenever I've sat down with people, gone through their stuff with them and said, look, instead of sending out 300 shit applications a week, why don't you just do 5 good ones? Then all of a sudden, as if by magic, they start to get interviews, they start to get asked to do online tests because they're not just thinking about sending out as much as possible. Reason number 3, one-click applying like mad for 20 minutes and procrastinating for 3 hours. Now, problem with Indeed, LinkedIn, Monster, whatever you're using, right, is that they've now made it as easy as possible for you to apply for a job. Now, if it's easy for you, it's easy for everyone else. If it's easy for everyone else, it's difficult for you, right? If something is as frictionless as possible, because basically these platforms are incentivized to maximize attention and engagement. So they make applying for a job as simple as possible. Like for example, on LinkedIn, you do one-click apply. Now, the amount of people that I spoke to and said, have you actually ever gotten a job through LinkedIn? And they're like, no. I haven't gotten a job through LinkedIn, because as soon as the job goes live, and you can see this, you can get a month's free Sales Navigator or Premium. You'll see that within an hour, there are like 400 applications, right? So is somebody actually gonna sit there and go through all of the applications to find you? No, because first of all, it's all scanned using an ATS system, right? The second thing is that you wanna go straight to the source. So if PwC advertises a vacancy through LinkedIn, you want to go to PwC's website, find the job and apply to them directly, because then you're not getting screened twice, i.e. once by LinkedIn and once by PwC. Just go directly to the source. Also, one-click applying for the most part is probably a waste of your time, right? Unless you're applying for an entry-level job or a customer service job or just a general, say for example, you want to be a delivery driver or an administration assistant, maybe this is fine. But if you're applying for a job which requires a high level of skills or experience or higher expectation of the quality of the person, then you want to go directly to the source. The closer you can get to the source, the more likely it is that you're going to get noticed. And a lot of people use one-click apply to make up for the fact that they've just been fucking around for 3 hours on YouTube or Reddit or TikTok or whatever, and then they sit there and go, oh, mum, dad, I applied for like 48 jobs. Well, you didn't really, you just clicked your mouse 48 times on whatever job came up in your local area. Again, just don't be lazy. Put a little bit of thought into it. Going all the way back to my first point, if you planned out what companies that you're going to apply to and you had the links directly to the website, then you could just go there, sign up for notification they do it, or just check them once a week and apply straight at source. Reason number 4, not preparing for the next stage in the process. The amount of people that I've come across who've been caught out by online tests, by interviews, and by assessment centres, and this is kind of understandable, because if you're doing a lot of applications and nobody's getting back to you, then you just kind of get into this groupthink or this cycle of just going, you've just got to send more applications, then all of a sudden, bang, you get an online test. And you're like, oh my God, I got an online test. What should I do now? Well, now you need to prepare for the online test. But the chances are is that now it's too late, because you only have 5 days to do the online test, and also you've got all this other stuff to do. So always think about what's the next stage that I need to prepare for after this, because there's no point knocking on the door and then finally when someone's open you don't know what to say, right? You need to think, well, what do I have to do next? So if you're doing job applications and you're a graduate, start preparing for online tests, start preparing for interviews. If you're getting interviews, start preparing for assessment centres, and so on and so forth. Don't just think about the stage that's in front of you, because it's so painful when you've applied for 10, 20, 50 jobs. You finally get an interview and then you just flame out because you've done no interview prep whatsoever. Bearing in mind, prep takes time, right? And prep takes time over a period of days, weeks, or months, particularly if you're not good at it. Now, there are some kind of mythical people who are just really good at everything. They're mythical because there's not a lot of them, to be frankly honest with you. Some people can naturally get it, but still understanding the strategies, the frameworks that go into being able to be good at this stuff, that takes time and that takes practice. And there is no shortcut to volume, to practice, to repetitions. There's no shortcut to that. You can sit there and try and do as much as you want in 3 days. It's not going to be the same as if you spaced out your practice over the period of a month. Reason number 5, you take it personally. So very often I used to have, when I used to work with more international students, they'd be like, oh, is it because I'm from India or Pakistan or China or Tajikistan or the moon? And I'm like, no, it's got to do with that. I genuinely believe that the UK is quite a meritocratic country where people are generally accepted based upon what they can deliver rather than who they are or what they look like. And what happens is people begin to take failure personally. And this is kind of a build-up of the previous 4 reasons, because if you're sitting there every day without a plan, one-click applying a lot, sending out shit CVs and cover letters and getting rejected a lot, it just smashes your self-esteem. Because every day you wake up and it gets to a point where you're not even getting rejected. People just aren't getting back to you. You're just getting ghosted left, right and centre. And just thinking, oh my God, what's wrong with me? It must be because, I've got black hair, or it must be because I've had a 17-day career gap. It's got nothing to do with that. Go back to the source. If what you're doing isn't working, go back to the source. And if you're starting to feel like you're breaking apart at the seams and you want to jump out of a window, take the day off. It's not that deep, right? Just take the day off, come back to it and think, well, instead of blaming externally, just think, what can I change? What information do I need to be able to do this properly? Who can I find? Who can I emulate so that I can actually feel like I know that I'm doing the right thing? Reason number 6, being too narrow or having too high an opinion of yourself. Now, many years ago, I went and did a careers talk at Warwick Business School. And, I've been to Oxford, Cambridge, UCL, LSE, Imperial, and I would talk to really bright young students, right? And they'd all be like, well, I only want to do management consulting at these 6 companies, or I only want to do front office trading. And I was just like, look, number one, as good as you think you are, there are also lots of other people who are probably just as good as you or not too different from you. And what I mean by this is, particularly when you're a graduate or you don't have a lot of experience, there's not too discernible a difference. Now, there might be somebody going, well, I went to Oxford, Cambridge, LSE, UCL, Imperial. No one really cares. If I'm honest with you, as an employer, what you care about is what have you actually done? Like, what results can I see where you've done the thing that I want you to do? Just because you've got a degree from somewhere, that doesn't really demonstrate anything. It just demonstrates the fact that you got into university and you got a degree. So try to think outside the box. If you're thinking about management consulting, think about general firms that do consulting. If you're thinking about front office, then maybe think about investment management, asset management, private equity, middle office, risk finance, just cast your net as wide as possible, because the hardest place is when you're just starting and you've got no career capital. What do I mean by career capital? I mean, you've got nothing to show somebody to say, hey, I did that thing before. And also, think about how you can find opportunities where you can clearly demonstrate results prior to you hitting the job market, whether that's working for somebody for free, and they're going to be people who are going to be screaming, go, no, it's outrageous, it's slavery, it's this, it's that. Cool, enjoy being unemployed and poor. Now, the point of the matter is, if you were really smart, right, and you reached out to people and you sent them good work, say you want to be an investment advisor, right? So once or twice a month, right? You pick out a huge list of people, and you could probably find them on LinkedIn, and then you message them once or twice a month. You go, hey, I've just found this new investment, and I think it's really interesting, and here's a 7-page report. It's just free, right? You just have your contact details at the bottom. If you do that, number one, no one's doing that. And if you did that for a month, 2 months, 3 months, I can almost guarantee you someone's going to reach out to you and go, Mike, these reports are amazing. What are you doing? Like, are you working at the minute? We've got something coming up. And this is what is known as the generous give, right? Obviously, this is quite difficult to do when you're like, you've graduated and you're like, holy shit, I've got to get a job. But if you're watching this and you're a year out from graduation, start doing that now. Start building a network now. Start reaching out to people. Start showing people your work. Instead of telling people that you're amazing, just show people, and they're going to be like, cow, this guy, right? That's what I try and do with the content for this channel, so that when people come to us, they don't say like, well, I don't know if you're the guy. They're like, take my money, right? Because they've consumed so much free content, which is of such high quality, that they just go, yeah, this is the guy for us. I know that he's the person that can help me. Reason number 7, refusing to break out of your comfort zone / talking to strangers. So this is something that I come across time and time again. It's not really just a young person thing, but I've come across it since 2013. So I talk about talking to strangers because it's something that consistently people really struggle to doing, particularly with assessment centres. Whatever it is that you know that you're bad at, do more of that thing. Whatever is the thing that makes you uncomfortable, do more of that thing. In that discomfort, in that pain is growth. You're not going to grow if you just sit at home doing all the stuff that you're good at. There's no real room for growth there. We're talking about the initial stage of getting a job and having to tick all the boxes, right? So find that thing which you are not good at and do more of that thing. If you struggle talking to people, go and do meetups. If you struggle with doing presentations, do more presentations. You get the idea. It's not complicated, but lots of people will avoid this because they don't like the discomfort and the fear of looking bad or stupid or all of those things. And the only way to get over it is to go through it. Reason number 8, too much listening and doing what everyone else wants you to do. Now, the amount of times that I've been on the phone, someone says, my friend said, my mum said, my dad said, this guy on YouTube said, maybe this guy. But the point is that people are spending too long listening and doing what everyone else wants them to do. And this all goes back to point number 1, which is basically you don't have a plan and you don't know what the fuck you're doing, right? So when you don't have a plan and you don't know what the fuck you're doing, you're just really malleable and easy to lead around, right? My friend said this, my friend said that. Be careful of the counsel that you keep and be clear on what it is that you want to do, because everybody will teach you something, either what you want to be like or what you don't want to be like, right? And when you're much clearer about what you want to do, then it becomes much easier for you to say no. This also has a bit of a larger extension in general, which is you will probably have lots of people who want a bit of your time, right? And to get what you want, for you to get somebody to say yes to you, means you need to say no to a lot of people. You need to say no to going out and getting pissed, no to the society that wants you to be there 3 days a week, no to the girlfriend who's like, oh, can't we just hang out every single evening because I love you so much? You don't need to say no to everybody, but you need to be ruthless with your time in order for you to get that thing that you want. Bearing in mind, once you've got the thing, then you can do other things. But prior to you getting a job, if this is seriously your biggest focus in life, then you need to think really and honestly, am I being clear on what I want? Am I defending my time, and am I making sure that on a daily basis, this is my priority? That I just move a little bit further up the mountain, I take one step forward, and I'm being really honest about what I'm doing and what I could be better at. So that's 8 reasons why you're probably not getting a job. So a little bit about AI. This has been a big thing since ChatGPT came out on November the 30th, 2022. We've done AI videos. Fucking every career YouTuber or non-career YouTuber or just a random guy who's got a job at Chicken Shop has been telling you about how this is how you can use AI to get a job in 27 seconds. Look, AI is not a shortcut for laziness, and I've seen a lot of AI generate content. We have a digital media agency and I am a professional writer, so I do use and deploy artificial intelligence. We use it as a business, but the point is it's still not a shortcut for laziness. I find AI to be an effective tool for iteration, for first, second and third draft of writing, but this is no shortcut for you doing your homework, you going out, you finessing and using the tool. To a man with a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Now you can give a man a chainsaw to chop down a tree and he may still chop it down faster, and then it falls on him and kills him. So just remember that AI is a tool. AI is not a new brain. Right? So whatever you're using, whether it be ChatGPT or Gemini or blah, 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 this, that, and the other. And in fact, if you're interested in the AI tools that we use to help people to get jobs, let me know in a comment down below and I'll make a separate video about it. But just remember that you should still know the strategies and frameworks. AI cannot think for itself. It cannot get you a job by itself. It still requires you to do that. And if you want to know the basics, just go to, I think it's prompting.org, where there is an open source guide to how to write prompts. You don't really need to go any further than that. Guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you do, please hit like, let me know in the comments down below. I need to know if you like the videos, because if you don't comment on the video, then I just think you thought it would, so I won't make any more of them. Bye.